Hey Zelda fans, it's theory time! There is a problem with Breath of the Wild's divine beasts, and it's something that has stumped Zelda fans for years. And I think the answer may lie in one of the many religions the Zelda series is known to draw inspiration from. These behemoth automatons serve but one purpose: to aid Link and Zelda in sealing Calamity Ganon. Each beast houses an elemental power, and they wield massive lasers meant to significantly weaken the Scourge of Hyrule. Vahana, the mechanical camel who terrifies Gerudo Desert with volleys of lightning. Vah Ruta, the fire lizard capable of scaling the very lava of Death Mountain. Vah Meadow, the bird of prey, divine beast of the wind high above the skies of the Heber region. And lastly, Vah Ruta, the elephant that spouts torrents of rain upon the Lanayru region. But no divine beast would be complete without its pilot, and that's where Breath of the Wild's champions come in. Urbosa the Gerudo, Daruk the Goron, Revali the Rito, and Mipha the Zora all pilot these gigantic machines, and each of the champions also wields a magical elemental ability themselves. Thematically, each divine beast's design and motif are meant to align with the regions they inhabit, the magical abilities of their champions, and the elemental powers within themselves. So it isn't hard to see why the game's developers chose a camel for the desert and a bird for the domain of the sky. As for Vah Ruta, the lizard of the volcano, although the connection isn't as direct, it isn't too far-fetched to assume that either its reptilian nature was meant to conjure other mythical fire-breathing reptiles like dragons, or even amphibians like the salamanders of European mythology who are thought to be born from fire itself. Fun fact, the latter was the inspiration for Bruni, the spirit of the element of fire in Disney's Frozen 2. And it's even plausible that Vah Ruta is a Dodongo, especially when we compare it to the Dodongos from Twilight Princess. Notice how the toes match the toes of this icon of the divine beast. It even performs tail attacks like the Ocarina of Time Dodongos. But what about Vah Ruta? Yes, it spouts water from its trunk just like a real elephant, but when you think of animals that represent the element of water, typically an aquatic species comes to mind. So what gives? It's entirely possible that this confusion is exclusive to Western gamers. The Zelda franchise is no stranger to drawing inspiration from Eastern religions. From the Shinto Torii gates in the Tears of the Kingdom trailers, to the obvious depictions of Buddha in Skyward Sword, to the ancient Shika monks of Breath of the Wild resembling self-mummified Soko Shimbutsu Buddhist monks, and these are just the tip of the iceberg. I am no expert in religious studies, but I believe it may be Hinduism that holds the key which unlocks this mystery. Elephants have great significance to various cultures around the world, but there are specific qualities of elephants in Hinduism that have my interest piqued. In Hindu mythology, there are divine elephants known as world elephants who are thought to be holding up the universe. 4 of these elephants hold up the 4 quarters of the universe, and the earth itself rests on their backs. And interestingly, the very first thing you see when you enter Skyward Sword's Earth Temple are 4 elephant statues. There are also elephant statues in the Wind Waker's Earth Temple and Hyrule Warrior's Earth Temple. But it is the associations with water surrounding divine elephants in Hinduism which may be the solution to the Vah Ruta mystery. Hindu mythology and tradition hold that elephants are associated with clouds and rain, and that they bring good rains and abundant harvests. This belief is likely based on the fact that elephants are known to drink large amounts of water, and that they are often found near water sources such as rivers and lakes. And probably because of their round shape and gray color, the elephant is regarded as a rain cloud that walks the earth, endowed with a magico-religious ability to produce rain clouds at will. Additionally, the sound of an elephant trumpeting is said to mimic the sound of thunder. There are also numerous depictions of divine elephants and water, notably the goddess Lakshmi, who is usually portrayed as being purified by 2 elephants pouring water over her. In Breath of the Wild, before you complete the divine beast Vah Ruta quest, the elephant risks causing a deluge across Hyrule with a non-stop spout of rain. King Dorephin attributes this to the elephant's, quote, unique ability to create an endless supply of water, implying the elephant is creating the rain with magic. One of those world elephants that hold up the universe is the mount of the thunder god Indra, who is associated with sky, lightning, weather, thunder, storms, rains, and river flows. Indra rode the elephant in his battle against Vritra, the personification of drought. One of that elephant's names means the one who knits or binds the clouds, since myth has it that these elephants are capable of producing clouds. But Indra isn't the only god who rides a mythological animal. In Hinduism, many gods are portrayed as mounting divine beasts as their vehicles. These mounts are known as Vahanas, and there are many who mount elephants. And the word Vahana may be the very reason the developers of Breath of the Wild named each divine beast with Va, as in Vah Ruta. Sanskrit is the sacred language of Hinduism, and the etymology of the word Vahana is derived from the Sanskrit word Va, which means to carry or to transport. And it isn't too much of a stretch to consider Breath of the Wild's champions, who similarly mount the game's divine beast, as godlike. After all, Revali's diary tells us that in order to pilot a divine beast, one's soul must contain an incredible sacred power for a divine beast to recognize them as master. And they all wield incredibly powerful godlike magical abilities centered around the four elements of fire, water, wind, and lightning. The champions are a proxy for the sages that we see in many other Zelda games who also help Link and Zelda seal Ganon. And the sages operate at the command of the goddesses, even speaking to them directly. And the 7 heroine statues have the words 7 sages written on them in Gerudo script, whom the Gerudo thusly considered to be divine. So clearly the sages, and champions if you believe they are connected, are no mere mortal Hyruleans. To be clear, they aren't literal gods. Instead, they are the closest descendants to the early Hylians, whom wielded magical powers per the A Link to the Past manual. Those early Hylians had magic-infused blood due to their close relationship with the gods. And early Hyrule was once called the Kingdom of the Gods. This is also why they acquired pointed ears and enabled them to hear special messages from the gods. And per Hyrule Encyclopedia, although the power of these early Hylians faded over time, the sages and their descendants continued to possess these powers which were acquired from the gods at the founding of the kingdom. For me, there is more than enough evidence to theorize that the magic-wielding champions, spiritual successors to the sages, who pilot divine beasts, are a reference to the Hindu gods and their Vahanas, and the fact that Vah Ruta's magical ability is to create an endless supply of water, just like the divine elephants of Hinduism, seals the deal. If you enjoy this, you should take a look at my previous videos. I try to only talk about original ideas that no one else is covering. And consider subscribing and following me on YouTube and TikTok. See you next time.